If you're over 60, every single bite you take, every snack, every little treat has a direct impact on your heart. What you eat isn't just about calories or cravings anymore. It's about whether your heart gets stronger with each passing day or slowly, tragically wears down. And what if I told you that there's one group of foods many seniors eat every single day, foods they believe are healthy, that's actually silently damaging that vital organ, contributing to the very conditions we strive to prevent?
Welcome to Health Voices. I'm Sarah. A sobering warning indeed from Dr. David Miller, senior cardiologist at the National Heart Institute, who is with us today. Dr. Miller, it's concerning to think that even with the best intentions, seniors trying to eat clean might be consuming problematic, healthy snacks. You mentioned nuts specifically?
Precisely, Sarah. As a heart doctor, I've reviewed countless dietary logs and patient histories. So often, individuals come into my clinic thinking they're making excellent choices, diligently avoiding chips, fast food, and obvious sugars. But then, when we delve into their snacking habits, we uncover that certain types of nuts, or nuts prepared in specific common ways, are quietly fueling inflammation, contributing to elevated blood pressure, and insidiously promoting the clogging of arteries over time. The problem isn't always what you're actively avoiding. It's often what you think is a healthy choice, but in reality isn't. And that's why today I feel a strong obligation to urge seniors to stop eating, or at least drastically reconsider, 7 specific kinds of nuts or common nut preparations. I intend to explain exactly why they're harmful and, importantly, what safer, genuinely heart-protective alternatives you can confidently turn to.
7 specific kinds. That is quite a list and will likely be eye-opening for many. Dr. Miller, let's begin. What's the first on your list of concerns?
Let's start with a very common one, often seen as a harmless, even comforting, snack. Number 1 is honey-roasted peanuts. They sit there so invitingly in a bowl on the coffee table, or are easily grabbed by the handful. Golden, sweet, and so familiar. For many seniors, they've become a trusted companion, a go-to for a quick bite. But behind their friendly crunch and sweet facade is a cocktail of ingredients that are slowly and silently damaging your heart. These are not just plain peanuts. They are heavily coated in refined sugar, often including high fructose corn syrup, a significant amount of salt to enhance that sweet salty appeal, and frequently unhealthy hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils, which are used to create a specific texture and prolong shelf life. This trio, sugar, unhealthy fats, and excess salt, consistently promotes inflammation throughout the body. They cause rapid spikes in your blood sugar, can directly contribute to raising your blood pressure, and leave behind metabolic residues that your cardiovascular system must fight against every single day. For seniors, this is especially dangerous because after age 60, the body doesn't process sugar and salt with the same efficiency it once did. Blood vessels are more sensitive, metabolism is slower, and the heart is generally less forgiving of these dietary insults. That seemingly innocent handful, repeated daily, becomes a slow, steady drip of damage, contributing to insulin resistance, elevated LDL, bad cholesterol, and a quiet, progressive narrowing of the arteries, which sets the stage for serious events like stroke or heart attack. The solution, if you love peanuts, is simple but powerful. Switch to plain, dry roasted, unsalted peanuts. No coatings, no surprises.
That's a crucial distinction about the coating. What's the second type of nut preparation we should be aware of, Dr. Miller?
Number 2 on my list is salted mixed nuts. These are ubiquitous, found in shiny tins and resealable bags, often prominently labeled heart healthy or smart snacking. This mix usually contains almonds, cashews, pistachios, and other nuts, all tossed together and coated in just the right amount of salt to make them highly palatable and, frankly, addictive. While the nuts themselves have potential benefits, the added sodium is the primary villain here. As a heart surgeon, I've heard countless older patients say, "But I only snack on nuts, doctor, nothing fried, no chips." Yet their blood pressure remains stubbornly high. After age 60, your body's sensitivity to salt increases significantly. The same amount of salt your younger self might have tolerated now causes your body to retain more water, increasing blood volume, pressurizing your arteries, and forcing your heart to work much harder. This chronic strain leads to the heart muscle thickening, vessel stiffening, and the progression towards hypertension and potentially heart failure. Salted mixed nuts are particularly dangerous because their consumption is often mindless. A handful here and there adds up to a significant sodium load. If you enjoy mixed nuts, the key is to opt for raw or dry roasted, unsalted versions. You can always add your own touch of flavor at home with herbs or a dash of cinnamon, staying far away from the salt shaker.
It's clear that added salt is a major concern. You also mentioned a category that's deceptive because it combines nuts with something sweet and comforting. What is number 3?
Number 3 is chocolate-covered nuts. These often feel like the perfect compromise between an indulgence and a healthy choice. People reason that nuts have protein and fiber, and chocolate, especially dark chocolate, has antioxidants. So how bad could it be? The truth is, this combination, especially the commercially prepared varieties, can be one of the most deceptive threats to your heart, particularly after the age of 60. These treats deliver a heavy dose of added sugars from the chocolate and any glazes, often processed fats, especially in milk chocolate or lower quality coatings, which might contain palm oil or other less desirable fats, and sometimes refined oils. These ingredients cause rapid insulin spikes, can make your blood thicker, and trigger the chronic low-grade inflammation that leads directly to artery damage. What makes this even more dangerous is the emotional attachment many have to chocolate as a comfort food. But internally, the sugar rush stresses your pancreas. The saturated or processed fats can contribute to arterial plaque, and the calorie density often leads to visceral fat accumulation, a significant heart attack risk factor in seniors. If you truly enjoy the combination, choose a small square of high-quality dark chocolate over 70% cocoa and pair it with a few raw, unsalted almonds or walnuts. That provides genuine satisfaction without the detrimental overload of processed ingredients.
That's a very practical tip for a healthier indulgence. What about snacks often marketed as energy boosting, like trail mixes? This is number 4 on your list.
Yes, number 4 is packaged trail mix, especially those versions containing candies, chocolate pieces, or excessive amounts of sugar-sweetened dried fruit. At first glance, these often look like the ideal healthy snack, a colorful mix of nuts, dried fruit, and perhaps some appealing bits of chocolate or yogurt-covered pieces. The packaging frequently boasts claims like energy boost or natural fuel. However, most commercially packaged trail mixes are not what they appear to be. They are typically loaded with sugar-drenched raisins or cranberries, often infused with additional sugar syrups and oils to prevent clumping. Candied fruit pieces, yogurt-covered morsels, where the coating is often primarily sugar and hydrogenated oil, heavily salted nuts, and candy-coated chocolate bits. Each of these components on its own can spike blood sugar or blood pressure. Together, they form a potent cocktail of refined sugar, excess sodium, and unhealthy fats, effectively making the product closer to a bag of candy than wholesome nourishment. This can lead to elevated triglycerides, increased blood sugar, and arterial inflammation. If you enjoy trail mix, the best approach is to build your own at home using raw, unsalted nuts, seeds, and a small amount of genuinely unsweetened dried fruit.
It's clear we need to be very discerning about packaged snacks. What is the 5th concern you have regarding nuts?
Number 5 involves nuts that are heavily flavored. Flavored almonds, and this applies to other nuts too, such as BBQ, ranch, wasabi, or sriracha varieties. These sound exciting and offer a tasty twist on a healthy nut. However, beneath these bold flavors often lies a problematic reality. These flavored almonds are usually coated in a complex mixture of artificial seasonings, very high levels of sodium, often monosodium glutamate, MSG, added sugar to balance the savory notes, and various chemical preservatives. While the almond itself is heart healthy, these coatings transform it into a highly processed food. For seniors whose bodies may filter toxins and salt less efficiently, each bite can send a wave of excitotoxins and sodium into the bloodstream, potentially constricting arteries and increasing blood pressure. It's easy to overconsume these due to flavors designed to be addictive. The best way to enjoy almonds is to keep them simple, raw or dry roasted and unsalted. If you want flavor, add natural spices like turmeric or cinnamon at home.
We've covered many nuts with problematic coatings or additives. Are there any nuts that can be an issue due to their natural composition if not eaten carefully? This brings us to number 6.
That's correct. Number 6 is cashews, specifically when consumed in excess. Cashews are wonderfully creamy, rich, and deeply satisfying, which makes them very popular. However, they are naturally higher in saturated fat compared to many other common nuts like almonds or walnuts. While this saturated fat, in true moderation as part of a balanced diet, may not be a major threat, moderation is often misunderstood. A proper serving size is just a small handful, about 1 ounce, roughly 18 to 20 cashews. Most people, especially when snacking from a large container, eat far more. With age, our metabolism slows, and the margin for dietary error shrinks. Consistent overconsumption of cashews can contribute to a rise in LDL, bad cholesterol, and promote weight gain, particularly unhealthy visceral fat. Cashews aren't inherently bad, but they absolutely demand a strict portion control due to their fat profile. Treat them as an occasional pleasure, not a daily voluminous staple, and be sure to rotate them with other lighter, more fiber-rich nuts.
That's a very important point about portion control, even for whole foods. What is the 7th and final concern on your list, Dr. Miller? You mentioned earlier that even the healthiest nuts can become harmful depending on how they are cooked.
Yes, the 7th critical concern is any nut, regardless of its type, that is commercially cooked or roasted in unhealthy vegetable oils, such as soybean, corn, or canola oil. You've seen these everywhere. Packaged roasted almonds, cashews, pecans, etc. They look wholesome, but the hidden danger lies in the type of oil used in the roasting process. Most such nuts today are cooked in these refined industrial seed oils because they are cheap and have a neutral flavor. However, these oils are typically very high in omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6s are essential in small amounts, the modern Western diet provides an overwhelming excess of them relative to anti-inflammatory omega-3s. This imbalance fuels chronic inflammation throughout your body. For a senior's heart, already potentially more vulnerable, this constant inflammation can silently accelerate plaque, build up in arteries, contribute to high blood pressure, and even trigger heart rhythm issues without warning. These oils are invisible. You can't see or taste them, but they coat every nut, turning something nutritious into something your heart has to fight. Reading labels is vital. If the label says roasted in vegetable oil, or lists soybean, corn, canola oil, etc., it's best to put it back.
Dr. Miller, after covering these 7 significant points, it might feel to some listeners like all nuts are risky. Crucially, what should people do instead to safely enjoy the many benefits nuts do offer? This is your 8th point, the positive action plan.
That's the most important part, Sarah, the empowering part. It's not the nut itself that's usually the problem. It's how we process, prepare, and consume it. You absolutely do not have to give up nuts. The key is to become more intentional. Firstly, go back to basics. Raw, unsalted nuts, almonds, walnuts, pistachios, pecans offer incredible nourishment. They're rich in fiber, healthy fats, antioxidants, and vital minerals like magnesium, all supporting blood pressure, reducing inflammation, and strengthening arteries. The closer your food is to its natural state, the better. If you prefer a roasted crunch, choose dry roasted nuts, roasted with heat only, no oil. Better yet, roast them yourself at home at a low oven temperature, perhaps with heart-healthy spices like turmeric or cinnamon. And always measure your portions. A small handful, about 1 ounce, is plenty. Scrutinize packaging. If labels include added sugar, artificial flavors, or those problematic seed oils, leave them on the shelf. Simplicity is safety. An ingredient list of just almonds is often your best choice. Also, consider eating nuts mindfully, perhaps paired with fresh fruit for better blood sugar balance, not distractedly. With a few deliberate changes, you can shift from snacks that harm to foods that strengthen your heart.
That's wonderfully clear and actionable. Finally, Dr. Miller, the source material concluded with a very powerful message about our heart and the legacy we build through our choices. Could you share some closing thoughts on that?
Certainly, by the time you reach your 60s, your heart has beaten over 2 billion times. It has carried you through life's every joy and sorrow, asking so little in return beyond your care and awareness. The choices you make now, what you eat, how you move, how you rest, carry more weight than ever before. Your body doesn't rebound as it once did. Damage from processed foods, hidden sugars, and excess salt can linger. But here's the profound truth. It is almost never too late to change course. Your heart is capable of healing. Your arteries can soften, blood pressure can lower, energy can return. You can feel younger and stronger, not through medication alone, but through conscious daily decisions that honor the life you've lived and the life still ahead. When you choose simple, whole, honest foods, you're not just eating differently, you're living differently. You're refusing to let habit or convenience dictate your future. You're investing in the most valuable asset you have, time. Time with loved ones, time without preventable pain, time with a strong, steady heart. That is a legacy truly worth building. Your next meal, your next snack, your next choice, it all matters. And your heart, it's still listening.
Dr. David Miller, that is a deeply moving and inspiring message to conclude with. Thank you so much for sharing your invaluable expertise and such heartfelt, critical advice with all our Health Voices listeners today. And a sincere thank you to our listeners for joining us. We hope this discussion empowers you to make heart-healthy choices with newfound clarity. Until next time on Health Voices, be well.